Unscripted, unsanctioned, and unbelievable. No amount of training can prepare you for this. It's time for a radio beatdown. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. This is the Ultimate Fight Show, your source for all things MMA. Now, let the damage begin.
It is the Ultimate Fight Show live on 740 The Game, brought to you by Tiger Martial Arts, PokerVT.com, and Oxygen4Energy.com. That's Oxygen, the number 4Energy.com. The Ultimate Fight Show is your source for all things mixed martial arts. We have up-to-the-minute news. We're discussing everything that's being talked about in the sport today, and we bring a different fighter to call and speak to every week. I'm your host, Dave. I'm joined, as always, by new guy, Bry. What's going on, my friend?
Tom Lawler got robbed.
Yes, sir. We have a special guest in the studio tonight. He was on Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. As a heavyweight, he stopped the rise of Kimbo Slice. It's Seth, the Silverback Petruzelli. What's up, man?
Guys? What's happening?
Welcome
yes,
to
Tom
the
Lawler did get robbed.
He did get robbed. Welcome to the Ultimate Fight Show on 740 The Game. Seth, you got famous for making Kimbo's eye look like a Hot Pocket right out of the oven, man. We've known you a lot longer than that, though. We watched you in K1. We watched you in Season 2 of The Ultimate Fighter. You gave me a tour of your gym before it was even built, and we ordered protein smoothies at the Smoothie King there.
Nice.
So first of all, I do want to congratulate you for all your accomplishments, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Now we're going to talk about more about your upcoming fight. We actually have a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the Ultimate Fight Night that just passed Monday. We're going to talk about some of the future matchups that are coming up. And I also want to discuss the judging controversy that's going on in MMA today. We also want to hear from you, so give us a call to weigh in with your opinion at 407-916-8255 or toll free at 1-800-729-8255. Okay, we all watched the Ultimate Fight Night on Monday. Of course, you were there, Seth. There were several events recently that have been getting a lot of publicity as far as bad judging. This is, of course, the latest one. The two fights that got the most attention for being misjudged that night were the Tom Lawler fight and the Nate Diaz main event. With that Lawler fight, how do you see that fight, Brian?
You know, it's a 10-point must system, first of all. That means, for those of you who don't know what it means, is the winner of the round scores 10 points, the loser of the round gets 9 points or less. And what I saw in the first round was that Tom Lawler completely dominated Aaron Simpson. There was a point in the fight where I was for sure that the fight was going to get stopped. And when that happens, to me, that's a bare minimum 10-8 round. I'm looking at possibly even a 10-7 round, which you don't see very often, but it was that one-sided for me. I saw Lawler going into the second round a little bit more even. That round was a little bit more even, but I still gave it to Lawler. He had some nice power punches that kind of got Simpson's knees a little wobbly. And then with Lawler kind of gassing out in the final round, you know, going for some takedowns, getting stuffed, I could give that round to Simpson 9-10, but I got Tom Lawler winning that fight 29-27.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. If anything, a 10-8 round the first round for Lawler, and if I don't know how anyone would have scored it a 10-9 the second for Simpson and a 10-9 the third round for Simpson, that would still be a draw. I mean, it just doesn't make sense any way you put it. Lawler definitely won the second round. You had to be there right against the cage. He was landing every single shot he was throwing. Simpson, of course, had a takedown. Lawler had a submission attempt on him, though, got right back up, and then Lawler took him down. So anywhere you scored, Lawler won that second round.
Yeah, one of those takedowns was a submission attempt, a guillotine that slipped out. And, you know, in my opinion, when you're active in a submission game like that, and the guy winds up on top of you, that's not a takedown.
Right, and not only in a guillotine, but he had him in a crucifix in a Kimura once, and he let go of it to stand right back up. So there was actually two submission attempts, to tell you the truth, in the second round.
Very surprised at that decision.
See, and that's what's crazy about judging today is it's so subjective. I mean, you know, I'll be honest with you guys. I watched the fight. My opinion of the fight, I'm a huge Tom Lawler fan. I mean, I was yelling at the screen. I was really pulling for Tom. I kind of saw it as Tom losing that second round too, but that's why it's a little bit kind of crazy. Now, what was your thoughts of the Nate Diaz fight though?
I thought the judges were correct with the Nate Diaz fight.
Did you?
Maybe it's just because I hate
yeah.
hate Diaz, but
I'm not a big fan either.
I actually watched that from the TV in the back room. They wouldn't let us go out there. The UFC doesn't let you go anywhere except the locker room. Mm-hmm. So they gave us a little streaming tube in the back. I watched, and I kind of agreed with that decision.
See, and that's where it gets a little bit, I guess, opinionated, because Brian and I were talking about this a minute ago. Nate and Nick Diaz, they throw a lot of punches. There's no power in them. They throw arm punches.
Yeah, they're slapping punches.
Right.
Yeah.
And, but that it kind of raises the question, is he scoring points with that? Because if that's the case, it seemed like he scored more points. What's your opinion of that, Seth?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking at it from a boxing standpoint, if you touch the person with your gloves, that's scoring a point, no matter how hard it was. If you're touching the person without it being blocked, that's a point. So if you look at it from that point of view, then I guess. But I don't, I guess. For MMA.
Right,
I
you
mean,
don't see it from
the
that.
shot needs to be damaging, has to do something to it. If I just feather you the whole time, what the heck's that going to do? It's not
Yeah,
something-
exactly. Seth, if I hit you 10 times with these tight little jabs and you give me the 1-2 and drop me to the mat, what's more effective?
Exactly.
Who's winning that fight at that point? I know if I'm watching a bout and that's what's going on and I'm keeping you at bay with distance, I'm pumping that jab out, pumping that jab. Yeah, it's connecting, but your head's not even moving backwards, for crying out loud. I mean, I looked at the fight metric. Diaz definitely landed more punches. Were they as effective? I don't think so.
Right, but that just goes back to the judges. Then are they boxing fans? Is that how they're scoring it? I mean, it all comes down to the judges. Then
Well,
at that
I mean,
point.
it is supposed to be a boxing. It is the boxing system.
Yeah, it's the
and that-
boxing commission.
Which is why I thought, even though I'm not a big Nate fan, that's why I thought he should have won the fight, because, whatever your opinion might be, they are judging it on the boxing system. So he did land more punches. He scored more. It seems like it would have been Nate's fight. But that's why I don't even like to watch Nick Diaz or Nate Diaz. It's just an annoying fight.
Yeah.
It's like
I
they're...
think the reason they're on is just because everyone hates him and they want to see that.
Probably.
You love him or hate him, you want to see him fight. I guess.
Well,
Get
I
the
know
crap beat out of him.
Gray Maynard didn't want any part of that ground game at all, I could tell.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And that was another annoying thing. I mean, every single time he went in there and threw a combination, he tried to grab Gray Maynard's head. He tried to grab him into into the clinch
guard.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the clinch in the guard.
And it's like, after a couple of times of doing that, I mean, it seems like you kind of move on, and it's not working, move on to something else.
Yeah, that just separates good fighters from not good fighters. If one thing's not working, you got to move on to the next plan B.
And you know what? We actually have a caller. He wants to talk about your upcoming fight, Seth. His name is Jason. What's going on, Jason? Welcome to the Ultimate Fight Show, 740 The Game. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I had a question for Seth.
Go for it.
What's up, Jason?
All right. Hey, Seth, I was wondering, with your upcoming fight and the way you've gone from, underdog to spotlight overnight, what kind of impact do you think that your victory, if you have one, will have on future MMA and influencing younger kids to get into MMA rather than boxing or other type of wrestling events?
Oh, that's a pretty good question, man. I actually... I love the fact that little kids are at all the UFCs right now. I started traditional karate when I was 7 years old, and I think that's why I do this a lot, because the impact that martial arts had on my life, I want to kind of share that with the world and with little kids and stuff like that. So when I have the victory over Ken Shamrock, I hope that it impacts a lot of the kids. Actually, in Cancun, there's going to be a bunch of drunk teenagers, but who knows? I mean, people watching on TV, I hope that a lot of kids will stop going to the more traditional schools and get into MMA, the wrestling and stuff like that. But I really get off on the fact that little kids are getting into MMA and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to point out how ironic that is too, Seth, because you made the biggest name for yourself, of course, by stopping Kimbo.
Right.
And you were on that card that night, but you were fighting somebody else.
Aaron Rosa was supposed to fight, yes.
And then Ken Shamrock injured himself, and you stepped in for him, and here you are fighting him. So that's pretty
Right.
ironic.
Yeah, injured himself.
Injured himself.
That's a
yeah.
good word. He is injured himself.
I'll tell you what, man, I still remember that, because you and I had spoke just, I think, 2 days before that. You were telling me about the fight that you were going to have. And then when I sat down to watch that fight, and they said that you had stepped in to fight Kimbo Slice, man, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it definitely was a rush. As soon as they took me in the back room, sat me down, I was like, listen, we got a problem. I was like, oh, crap, my guy got hurt or something like that. I'm not going to fight. But they're like, listen, Ken got hurt. We'd like you to step up and take this fight. Since you're locally from Florida, this would be good for it, blah, 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 blah. And I was just, everything, a rush of every single feeling takes over your body, man, everything.
Where are you calling from, Jason?
Cape Coral, Florida.
Nice, man.
Hometown, baby, yeah.
Hometown.
Is that where you're from?
That's where I'm from, Cape Coma.
We're all pulling for you, Seth. We're all pulling for you down here. Good luck in your next fight, and I'm actually going to be in Mexico to watch it.
Oh, no, wait. Well, check my Facebook status. I'm giving away free hotel rooms to go down there, man. So I'm giving
really?
away.
Well, I got tickets to the fight. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm giving away like 100 of them. So just keep checking the Facebook, and I'll update people on when I can do that.
All right. Well, thank you for answering my question. Good luck in the fight.
Thanks, Jace.
Nice, man. Now back to the conversation